Welcome to the bold analysis. Talks of Raila Odinga staging a 2027 contest with Raila Odinga have been gaining momentum. And this is courtesy of the Star newspaper. In media, there is something called agenda setting theory. Agenda setting theory is where the media triggers and frames a debate in a specific direction. From there, I saw Twitter has been on hot with people talking about Raila Odinga the sixth. So many analysts have given it a different interpretation, and one of the interpretations has been on an early campaign and what exactly this is going to proceed, or the kind of danger that this is going to inflict on the strength of Azimio la Umoja. But in this video, I ask a question. Raila Odinga's sixth bid momentum, what does it possess, or what is its influence on the fate of Kalonzo Karua ticket? Because that's one of the available tickets in Azimio la Umoja minus Raila Odinga. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? This is a very interesting look I want us to take. And yesterday, by the way, if you missed my interview with Koigi Wamwere, the human rights and veteran politician in Nakuru, you can check out that interview in my channel. It's in this channel. And of course, I'm also going to drop part 2 of that video. And I want to still continue reaching us in a special way as a son, as a brother, and as a friend, that I am running a fundraiser to buy a camera and just to boost my production. I already have one Canon 250D. So because of the exclusive interviews that I'm trying to venture in, there's now a necessity to have and boost more of the production and also sound. So what I've decided is to run a fundraiser to collect only 60,000. And this 60,000 will help me. In fact, even if someone donates a camera, oh my goodness, I'll be so happy. I'll not even run the fundraiser. I'll be so happy. But I'm asking in a special way, any donation that you can support me with. A number is the screen there, 0710 62 78 89. I know we pulled for Sarah 1.5 million, but then this is just a donation of 80 to offset to help me buy a camera and boost production, so that apart ukiangalia hizo video, it's only still where one, but when we have 2 cameras we shall be having different shots, and it will even boost the quality of those interviews. Now when you do sitting, it's easy, you just use 1 camera, but when you are doing interviews where you're seated, it's advisable you have more than one. And some of us, of the producers here, reached out in a manner. Now, back to our analysis. When you say Raila is going to vie, what are you communicating to Kalonzo Musyoka? And what are you, and specifically Kalonzo Musyoka, I want to be, let's start making it that way. Because in my peer analysis, my good professor from Uganda, is it Mulotsi? Yes, Professor Mulotsi, yes, was telling me that the intent of the floaters, or rather propagators of that narrative, are to break Azimio la Umoja right in the middle. Why? Kalonzo Musyoka believes and really stands the best and the only chance to launch his presidential bid to take over from William Ruto. Whether he will going to launch it and take it in 2027, or launch it to mount a successful campaign in the subsequent election in 2032, it's a matter of time. But the good professor from Lotzi is saying that propagators of this might be trying to bring down the house of Azimio la Umoja. And do you agree with him? Because me, I give it a different look. And from what I see, I listened to Raila in the University of Nairobi saying that there is no surrender. We are not going to surrender. Surrender is not in our vocabulary. And I think that's what media carried. That saying we are not to surrender is that Raila is still going to vie. I don't want to say, and when I was speaking to our elder and senior politician Koigi Mwere, he told me in that video that let Raila speak. When you stop him from speaking, you are actually killing him, because politics is his career. When he's not in politics, you seems to have killed him. And so people telling Raila to retire are misguided. And in his own words, Koigi Mwere was actually revealing that Raila stands as the prime politician to consolidate power behind Kalonzo and Martha Karua. Kalonzo and Martha Karua, left as they were, even if they are to stage a candidate, it will be prudent for Raila to step back but not behind. What am I saying? That to step behind but not back. Raila to step behind them, but do not take a back seat, because if he takes a back seat, they are easily gullible. Like, they still don't have the national gel that Raila was having. But when Raila is still behind them, Raila seems to have the click of the national gel. And there is something that they can do. I'm one person that I know it's early, but my position has been, what do you think will be the kind of a contest we will have in 2027 when Raila and Kalonzo and Karua are form a front of making sure that they dislodge William Ruto, even if they successfully don't. But let us step back and say Kalonzo Karua Tosha. What do you think? I know many people have looked at it as if, oh, without Raila it cannot. I am telling you. He said, Ruto Tosha. I know the dynamics are different. But even this election, if Raila would have said Kalonzo Tosha, and you have Kalonzo Karua ticket, woo, it will be different. I support the bid for Kalonzo, for Raila, to stop and hand it over to Kalonzo. Because this is the time. His supporters really believe that it is Kalonzo Musyoka's time. And of course, it will be easy to give back that hand when you are still, you still have the energy. You don't give up. You don't give it because now you are tired, but you give it because you feel it's not time to give it. And in this video, I want to explain what Azimio la Umoja must get right. Consolidate a much youthful team around Azimio, because what they seems to have lacked, a click of what they seems to have lacked, is that when Raila Odinga moved to the right in the handshake arrangement, he lost grip of becoming the human right defender. And he consolidated the power team that he consolidated. If you look at Murathe, Peter Kenneth, Raphael Tuju, Charity Ngilu, Martha Karua and the team, they portrayed an image of the political elite, but outgoing elite. Even though they tried to gel it a bit by including the Hassan Joho, Dama Olekina, and Sabina Chege, and Kanini Kega, but I tend to think that that ticket or that strategy should not be packaged directly as Raila Kalonzo or as Kalonzo Karua, but it should be, they should put youth in the front so that it doesn't come out. Because one thing I can tell you is that William Ruto is running a youth revolution in this country. Hey, yeah? And now that is the shrewd William Ruto. He's running a youth revolution. that can blow out anyway, anytime. And now the risk with the youth revolution, and by the way, I'll tell you one day in one of my analysis, perhaps tomorrow, that there is a risk of running a youth revolution, because if you run youth revolution, it's very gullible and it's a ticking time bomb. It's a group that do not have the voice of reason when things don't get their way. It's a group that when they will be called that, oh, this has failed, we are not given this, they can easily tamad you in the next minute. Now, they must consolidate the youthful team, and that's why I support the move to make sure that when Kanini Kega, because Kanini Kega was a very strong defender of Raila Odinga, and he lost, he sacrificed, Kanini Kega should be given a Ayala nomination so that he still remains within the Azimio front. Even though he can shift camps, but politically relevant, he will still maintain that and embrace the young politicians around Raila. By the way, look at ODM. ODM gave good nominations in the Senate. Asige, the Queen of North, and there was also another Muslim lady from Thika. These were young people. Look at the Fikirini Jacobs. That is the group that you should put in the front. My former vice president in Masai Mara University, who is from Kilifi and is doing really well. You need to put the youth in front. And number two, raid the Mount Kenya region and consolidate the disgruntled hustlers. There are two groups in Mount Kenya that are now out for a voice of reason. The disgruntled hustlers, the hustlers who believe that government, who are told, and they believe that government was going to throw money to them. That seems not to be the reality, and they'll have to go through the process. There is the other group who are the clergy that were promised heaven here in earth, to an extent of them getting a ministry or importation, free duty, some of them even salary, you know, that group. Huh? And there is the other group that do not believe that Rigathi Gachagua is the strong candidate to be the kingpin. In fact, someone was telling me that the question of the kingpin has not come. My good friend Koigo Amuro was telling me that the question of the kingpin still has not come. So you need to dismantle Mount Kenya, and dismantle Mount Kenya by number one, sustaining Raila Odinga's inroads there. I can tell you that Raila Odinga got around 800,000 votes in Mount Kenya. In the next general election, if you can better that to a 1.5 million, that will be double. Like, don't even double it. Look at it, put it to 1.3. And you maintain your groundswell, then you put a very strong critique on government, especially constructed, you offer the alternative voice, then that one is going to give Azimio an edge. Number three, I want to say this. Don't help William Ruto rule. If we want to go against William Ruto, don't help William Ruto rule. What am I saying? What am I saying? Let him make the blunders, and as Kalonzo and Karua runs their politics, none of them should think of working with William Ruto at any moment. Don't cross over. Thinking, because Raila Odinga have had that idea of thought, that sometimes you had to go to the right and work with the oppressor so that you show him the way. That strategy should not be repeated. Don't help William Ruto rule. Whatever they do, if you help, he will not be judged fairly. And when you help, you will carry the burden. William Ruto have the luxury of oratory and messaging that is tailor-made to the situation and to the audience. That skill, Kalonzo and Karua do not have. Only Raila has it. To try to make sure. So they will carry the burden. So don't help William Ruto rule, because if you help him to rule, you'll be part of his failure. So this has been said by everyone. Let Raila step back, so that step behind and not back. You step behind but not back. Unakaa mbali. Don't become a backbencher. You just be behind them, but let Raila and let Kalonzo and Karua run opposition politics in parliament. And the best way to do it is, because Kalonzo do not have the many numbers, ODM is the majority party in Azimio with many numbers, let Kalonzo and Karua be flawless, streamliningly, smoothly work with the ODM portfolio. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my take on it. I don't know what you think. I think I've really opened your thoughts into it. And that was my take as I continue urging us. This has been so special to me. Aki, this one, guy, I know that we are going to get a camera. And yeah, tutafungua camera tukasema, you have this. Canon 250D is what I'm looking for in the market. The one I have, I bought in July, 200 and I think it was 78,000. So now, because of maybe inflation, it can lead to around 80 or so. Donation to help me, the Bold Camera Project. We are a family, and any donation to this, I don't want to give a limit. Any donation to this will be highly welcomed. And thank you. Let's meet in the next.